Greetings in Christ. This is your 3-minute Psalm devotion for Psalm 50. I'm in my truck again in Bakersfield. Probably next week you'll see this little bundle of joy. All right, Psalm 50 really is a wonderful psalm. It's not quoted in the New Testament. It's quoted several times in the Book of Concord, however. And it's wonderful because it teaches us the true worship of God. All right? And it lays out very clearly, look, sacrifices in and of themselves do nothing. And God says in here, look, I don't really care about your sacrifices. They're always before me. I don't need them. I have a cattle on the 1,000 hills if I needed them. And then he goes on to say, look, what I really want is a sacrifice of thanksgiving. That is a heart that fears, loves, and trusts in me, okay? Interestingly, there is a positive note concerning sacrifice in this psalm, and it's really a prophetic element of Christ, where it says, look, God is going to come and he's going to rescue those who have made a covenant with him by sacrifice. And this is pointing to the covenant made by sacrifice that Christ accomplished with his death on the cross. He is the sacrifice of all sacrifices, and that's the one sacrifice that God really considers valuable and expects us to partake of. All right, so here's Psalm 50 selected verses. Here's verse 1. The mighty one, God the Lord, speaks and summons the earth from the rising of the sun to its setting. Now I'm going to skip to verse 4. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth that he may judge his people. Gather to me my faithful ones who made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Okay, so there in verse 5 is this Christological prophetic word about Christ, and it's by his sacrifice that we have peace with God. Now, consider now verse 8. Not for your sacrifices do I rebuke you. Your burnt offerings are continually before me. I will not accept a bull from your house or goats from your folds, for every beast of the forest is mine, the cattle on 1,000 hills. So notice the contrast. He says, I'm going to rescue those people who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And then it goes on to criticize the way people have been doing sacrifices. So clearly this sacrifice that counts for something is a reference to Christ. And then if you go up to verse 14, offer to God a sacrifice of thanksgiving and perform your vows to the Most High and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you and you shall glorify me. There it makes it clear. What kind of worship does God want? The outward sacrificial system of the Jews was never really the point. Always was the point was fear, love, and trust in God from the heart, and clinging to that one great sacrifice in Christ. Now, this psalm is used in the Book of Concord to teach the whole doctrine of faith so clearly, and I want to read it for you. So here's Melanchthon writing in the Apology, and he says, therefore the patriarchs too, the saints of the Old Testament, were justified not by the law, but by the promise and faith. It is strange that our opponents, right, the Roman Catholic theologians who were criticizing the Lutherans, it is strange that our opponents make so little of faith when they see it praised everywhere as the foremost kind of worship, as in Psalm 50, verse 15, call upon me in the day of trouble, I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. So there you go, a psalm that teaches the true worship of God, which is faith in Christ. Have a blessed day in the Lord.